So today we're playing a Berserker, and we have a hammer dagger build today, but it might be an unconventional one, as we are stacking up multiple sources of stuns like the hammer, ruby chunks, and even our subclass, the brass knuckles. And all these stuns trigger daggers to smash opponents into pieces. But hey, check this run out and let me know what you think of this build. Okay, let's go and jump some rank games with a random character and see what we're going to get today. So it looks like we're playing the Berserker. We do start off with a little topaz or a shiny shell. That's a rainbow badge. We're going to grab, which is going to give us items from all our classes. And after 7 seconds, it should give us a big all buff. But for now, we are definitely going to be crafting up a shovel. We're also going to grab a garlic. And I might actually save our 1 bit of gold for now, as we move on. So not the craziest round one, we do have a tiny bit of heal with that shiny shell. We do have a garlic to give us some block. We do have to survive for 7 seconds. If we do survive for 7 seconds, we do get 1 of every buff. But unfortunately, we got 3 hit from the hammer. Just pausing the video here very quickly, just to ask you to subscribe. It really helps me out. Thanks. Now let's get back to the video. So we didn't even get a chance. We got a shovel, that's a little short bow, which we're gonna grab. Let's grab a set of healing herbs. Let's roll once. And that's a freaking dagger and a banana. Also flame, which I'm gonna grab. So our short bow should add to our DPS even just a little bit. It is quite slow actually with the utility pouch compared to our opponent's bow. And they're gonna be stacking up specs. Now we do inflict blind with our shovel, which is pretty awesome, and then we do survive to get 1 of every buff, which does increase our weapon power. It does give us vampirism, but doesn't work with a sharp bow, and it's immediately gone from the garlic. However, our opponent does have a lot of block with that stone badge, and actually could be super problematic. Yeah. But we still just barely pulled ahead, which is fantastic for us. I'm going to grab this dagger. We're going to place it in all like so. We're going to grab the banana. We're going to sell a pocket sand. We're going to grab a set of healing herbs. And I'm going to move on. Now I'm going to move a shovel out of the utility pouch, so it actually triggers a bit faster, because I'd much rather just have this be inflicting some blind rather than actually dealing big damage. Even though it does have a 3 DPS, our opponent's shovel actually has more DPS since it is in the utility pouch. But once we get all our buffs, we should be in a pretty good spot, and this is probably the slowest dagger of all time, being almost 4.5 seconds. Actually activate. Now again, with the garlics in, they're going to get rid of that vampirism, which is not what we want. We do get that 1 power, which is pretty good overall for us. And actually, that goober does provide a lot of healing, but overall, smash it. Actually, we got a freaking whetstone from our shovel, which is kind of crazy. Now, since we're the utility pouch, we do take 5 seconds to actually enter battle reg. So not too pushed about going for extra anguish, since we do have to survive for 5 seconds. It means we're going to be very susceptible to big burst builds. So it either leaves shielded or mana mastery, and honestly, both of these are not great for us right now. So I'm just going to go with mana mastery, just for now. Now I'm going to roll. Definitely want to grab a bit of storage. Now actually, I'm going to sell our shovel. We're going to grab this hammer. We could end up going for a hammer dagger type build, but I'm also going to sell the short bow so we can actually grab this wooden sword for now. And I actually want to grab this lucky clover, potentially, because we could end up going for a lucky pig hammer dagger type build with that rainbow badge. Now we did put our hammer in a utility pouch because we want this to be activated a little bit faster, because if we do stun, we do trigger that dagger, and we're in the utility pouch, those daggers are going to be doing a lot more damage. But unfortunately, increasing the speed of the hammer right now is literally going to increase our stamina by quite a lot. And it's actually looking pretty close, but then we just smash our opponent down. And that's another freaking dagger, which we're going to grab. Let's grab a lucky clover. And we actually kind of want to grab the deck of cards, because we could end up getting a ruby chunk, which I'm going to grab. Now, box of riches would also be fantastic. And we do also want a stamina sec. So I think we're actually going to get rid of a wooden sword and this. I did want to go for a hero longsword, but unfortunately, I think it's a little bit too late. We're going to be adding in a deck of cards. Let's add in our Star of Courage. Let's also add in our Lucky Clover, just so we're increasing our accuracy. I might actually take our topaz out so we actually just increase our stamina overall. I'm going to sell our shiny shell to roll once more, and we're going to sell this flame to roll once more. The reason why I'm rolling so much is because right now, our rare opportunity is a little bit higher. We definitely want to be finding those blue daggers. But for now, let's go to move on. Now we should be in a much better spot our accuracy on a hammer is still 90%, even with 3 luck. Which shouldn't be too bad. However, this opponent is rocking a hero sword. It's looking like they're trying to go for either a hero longsword, burning blade, maybe 2 burning swords. But so far, it's looking pretty smashing for us. And overall, awesome. And that is Phoenix, another banana, box of riches. All pretty good options. I'm going to take the box of riches for now as we roll. Okay, we definitely want to grab a hollow fire lizard, because that is going to be Ruby Chonk. All we need to find out is a dragon egg for sure. Now, carrot is super interesting too. I might actually sell a set of healing herbs to actually grab it, because carrot, if you do have 4 luck, we do start to stack up in power, which does increase our weapon damage. So I'm definitely going to keep it. But Mana Mastery is pretty much a useless skill for us. Definitely not the build I was planning on going for when I took Mana Mastery. But so far, I'm actually working out with this hammer and daggers so far. Now we did increase our activation speed with that heat, which is going to make our stamina be a bit more rough. And actually this opponent's put on quite a good fight, and unfortunately we are going to end up losing, unfortunately. So we're going to grab our stack. We're going to grab our stamina stack. Let's actually grab Toad, because that's going to be stacking up some luck for us. We're going to roll once. We're going to roll again. And one more time. But for now, let's go to move on. And we're going to see. Now with the card in, we should be able to stack up a little bit in power once our Rainbow Badge does proc. It does take a long time for that Rainbow Badge to proc. And eventually we start getting that in power once. Well, every time a card actually triggers. Maybe twice actually. But that is going to increase the damage of our daggers and our hammer. And it's actually going to be super close. But unfortunately we're going to end up losing because of that out of stamina proc, which is pretty bad. Now we do have a couple of options. I actually just want to take Brass Knuckles, because literally we're just going to be stunning people with this along with that hammer. So I'm definitely going to grab it for now. We could end up taking that Fool card. So that's going to give some power. We're going to roll once. Let's grab this bit of storage. Let's roll again. Now we probably actually want to start crafting up some spectral daggers so we actually make use of some mana. So I'm definitely going to grab that for now. And we're going to take out this healing herbs. We're going to sell you. We're going to grab our potion. We're going to sell you to roll once more. And we definitely want to grab some extra storage. Now we definitely don't want our brass knuckles inside our utility pouch. We definitely want it this place so it actually triggers faster, and we probably should take our gloves for it. But for now, we are going to move on. I'm not going to add in our health pot. We're going to leave it out for now as we move on. So this is going to be scaling up our accuracy. It's also going to be stunning, which makes our dagger deal that more damage. And with our Fool card, we start off with 1 in power. And with a card, we should be able to stack up a little bit more in power, increasing our weapon damage. But unfortunately, it's looking pretty darn scary. And we're actually still going to end up losing, which is pretty darn sad. Now we're going to grab our leather bag. We're going to grab this lucky clover. We're going to roll once. We could end up grabbing another toad, but I don't exactly want to. And that's some crit chance. Okay, crit chance is straight up crazy. We're going to sell this. And we're going to have to figure out how we're going to fit this in. Okay, we figured it out. Pretty good. We're going to have it this way. This should be smashing. Now, actually, we do need to move this a little bit because we don't want that hammer in our utility pouch, which should be smashing, and we are going to move on. So we should be able to get crit chance on our whole setup. And that should be amazing, actually. This is going to be scaling up our accuracy. Our toad is going to be giving us some luck. Our card is going to be giving us some power. And actually, this could be really fantastic. We just need one of these dragons. And we're going to be in a crazy, crazy good spot. Now, out of all these options, honestly, none of these are super great. We're going to be trying to become a burst build, so we don't exactly want Power of the Moon. Stoned, honestly, not great. We've no stones, we don't plan on getting Stone Golem, even though Stone Golem would be smashing for us. So it kind of leaves us with Hardwood. Now, we only have one common item, so that's not super great either. So do we want 10 block? 10 block, I still think we actually take it, which is not ideal, but we're going to have to take it anyway. We're going to grab the storage, we're going to grab our armor, we're going to roll once. We probably don't even want the armor. That's okay, we're going to be selling the armor immediately. And we're going to sell the hardwood skill. And we're going to take our egg because we definitely want that ruby chunk. And we also want this Hollow Fire Lizard. We're also going to grab our protective little purse for now. And we're going to move on. Now, we don't have a skill, We could honestly sell our mana mastery also. There's no point in actually really having this. We could have kept our hardwood and actually had a bit of block that way instead of that mana mastery. So we probably want to get rid of it eventually. Our opponent is going to have a lot of flat damage, and unfortunately we are going to lose because we spent a lot of gold on this egg. So we're going to grab another Hellfire Lizards. We're going to roll once. It would be nice to get another Fool card if it actually gives that empower. But unfortunately it doesn't. We're going to grab that bit of storage. That's a mana orb we could honestly take to try to get that mana mastery, but is there point? Not exactly. So we're going to roll once. Now unfortunately we do have to survive for one more round. Now if you do survive, we should be able to get a Ruby Orb, which should increase your DPS overall. But let's keep moving for now. Now we could have actually crafted a Spectral Dagger by taking a set of blueberries, which definitely put it in play. But this is a lot of dragons, going to be dealing a lot of damage to us. And we're going to have to try burst them down before they can burst us down. And so far, not looking super great. For sure. Actually, I was lying. Definitely looking super great. Overall, smash. And now we get our dragon, which is going to be pretty good for us. And speaking of dragon, that's another ruby egg, which I'm definitely going to grab. It's also another carrot, which is kind of nice. It's more power stacking, which I'm going to take over the mana mastery. We're going to place it in. I think that's going to be a little bit better first for right now. I think we're going to sell our mana mastery to roll once, and we probably want this leather bag. But for now, we're going to risk it. We're going to move on. And once we get our ruby chunk in, we're going to be in a really awesome spot. However, we are going to be getting a double axe anvil with a ton of crafted items. We also have dragon set, which is going to give him a lot of lifesteal. And it's super close actually, but smashing. Pretty darn good. Now the reason why we want to do that ruby chunk is because once we have 12 heats, this has a chance to stun, which is perfect for our daggers. So we're going to grab a bit of extra storage. We're going to roll once. That's another bit of luck, which we're going to take. We're going to roll again. Another dagger, which we have to take for sure. And we definitely want to grab some bloody amulets. Now, unfortunately, this acorn collar is going to be in this position for sure, because we want crit chance on all these weapons, which means we can actually scale up that accuracy on that dagger. Now, I'm actually going to sell a rainbow badge and our health pot, and I'm going to be crafting up this bloody dagger. I think it's going to be super important to actually craft this up. We are going to move on. Now, the problem is it is going to be a bit difficult to actually stack up 12 heat. We do need to find an extra way to stack up that little bit of heats, because we're relying on a ruby chunk to actually stack up that heat. But once we get it, everything should be smashing. And even going to begin a crossblades, dealing 30 damage with a 25 DPS fancy fencing rapier. So we actually ended up with a 54 DPS. As for heals, honestly not looking super great, but honestly, we're trying to become a big burst build. Speaking of burst build, we could actually take a practical large greatsword and actually transform it into a busted blade. But I don't think we're going to grab it. We're just going to grab this bit of storage. We're going to roll once, twice even. Now the problem is we do need to stack up a lot of heat. So we need to find more Hellfire Lizards. Which means I'm going to roll for now. We could take a lover's card, but I don't exactly want to. Let's keep going. Fanfare on sale. We don't exactly need that mana. We could just literally take this burning coal to get it 2 heat. I think we definitely need that. Let's roll one more time, and that's all we're going to do for now. And let's keep it moving. Now we should be able to get a little bit of vampirism from our brute dagger, which means all our daggers should be healing for a bit more. And we're going to see. So far, we're doing amazing damage. And overall smashing actually. Pretty darn good. Okay, speaking of pretty darn good. That's another ruby egg, which is 4 heats. Well, we're going to grab it. We're going to roll. We're going to roll again. And I think we're going to take a spike collar for now, as we roll. Okay, another bloody amulet for more vampirism. I'm definitely going to grab. And we're going to move on once again. So with double ruby chunks in, the problem is we do lose out on a lot of heats. Since we don't have the Hellfire Lizard anymore. And since we don't have ruby whelp. But with ruby chunks, they do stack up that heat for us. Once we get to 12 heats, they should be stunning, and then our daggers should be going crazy. So we actually have a 70 DPS, which is pretty darn awesome. Compared to our opponent's 26 DPS. As for heals, see our heal not super great. Now there's our opponents right now. And then our block is non-existent. Our opponent did have Smelly Wall. They are also running a hammer dagger type build with the cursed dagger. But overall, I do believe we can actually make this a lot better. All we need to do is find more hollow fire lizards. So we're going to roll, and we're going to keep rolling for now. Okay, we're going to grab to see what it is. Amulet life. It's kind of awesome, but we're still going to get rid of it. Now, I'm very, very tempted to actually grab this bit of storage. But I'm not going to take it for right now. I'm going to roll. Definitely want an eye lamp because that is going to be too heat for us from the beginning. Well, let's roll one more time. Let's not waste any more gold. Let's go to move on. And our dragon egg is going to hatch next round, which means if we're going to craft up another ruby chunk, we're going to have to find another hollow fire lizard. But we'll see. This opponent is rocking double X, which is scaling up pretty darn fast. It's going to be super fast, double X, and it's actually going to be super close. And we actually end up losing, which is kind of crazy. That double X dealing 100 DPS. Now, our opponent did have a crazy amount of max life. So unfortunately, we couldn't contend with that. But we do have a good bit of DPS, and we don't have a crazy amount of heals. So unfortunately, that is our biggest downfall. But we should be in a much, much better spot with our ruby egg. And we're going to grab our eye lamp, we're going to roll. We're going to roll again. Okay, second eye lamp instead. It doesn't mean we're going to give up on ruby chunk. But I think that's fine. I think we're going to get rid of one lucky clover for now as we just place this on our hammer. Now we're only taking the eye lamps because that is going to be 4 heats. That's going to be 8 heats. That's going to be 10 heats. So it shouldn't be too long before our ruby chunk starts stunning. But let's go ahead and move on. We just need to get to 12 heats. Once we get to 12 heats, we should be able to start stunning and making those daggers go crazy. And so far, actually, our opponent has stacked up a lot of buffs. And we could be in lots of trouble, but that's a lot of damage incoming. And this is actually looking insane. Smashing even. Pretty good. And we actually ended up with 100 DPS. Vast majority of it coming from those ruby chunks, bloody daggers. And we ended up with a 50 healing per second, which is actually quite significant than what it was before. Now, a large majority of it come from utility pouch, giving out a life steal during battle rage. But hey. Now, we could end up taking more bloody amulets. But we're going to be crazy not take it for now. We're going to keep moving. Corrupt the crystal. On our unstable recombobulator. To begin a random buff, cleansing some debuffs. I'm going to grab it since it's on sale. Let's grab this too. Let's roll once. Okay. Imagine if we had 3 more rounds. We could have 4 ruby chunks. Now that would have been insane. And we're going to definitely take the hollow fire lizard. We're going to sell you. And you. And we're going to take the storage. Now let's roll one more time. And that's all we can really do. And with the hollow fire lizards, we should be able to get it at 12 heat. Pretty much at the very beginning of the fight. Which means our ruby chunk should be able to stun. And our daggers should be able to deal a lot of damage. But this is it. This is going to be our final setup. And we're going to see. Is this going to be good enough? Can we win out? Or are we going to fall short? Now we're going to slow this one down even just a little bit. But we are going to begin a spike stacking Thornbloom builds. We're going to be stacking up a lot of max life. Now those spikes could be quite dangerous, but we're dealing insane damage super fast. And honestly, this fight is looking pretty much over. Our opponent didn't even put a dent in us. Now they are scaling builds, which is pretty good for us since we're a burst build. We did end up with a 80 DPS, which is pretty good, dealing 500 damage in 7 seconds. As for heals, we managed to get a 42 heal per second. Again, utility pouch giving a lot of life steal to all our weapons, which is pretty good. But hey, this build turned out to be a lot of fun. Basically all brass knuckles hammer dagger build with some ruby chunks to also be stunning. Because once this stuns, once this stuns, once this stuns, that's going to trigger our daggers. So these daggers are going to be attacking quite often. But hey, actually large majority of it come from those ruby chunks. Not too bad. But anyways, we did survive with just 1 life, making this builds, but let's go and see just how much rank points we actually managed to get. Plus 8, rank is up quite a bit. But I'm going to leave it here for now. I just want to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, or even consider subscribing. And I hope to see you back up for the next one. See you next time.